Yeah, I'm still here. It's February 2023. I published my review of the Chris Ford C1 Bel Canto in the end of December, the watch of 22, and I've disappeared. Where have I been? We'll get to that, but first, hit the subscribe button, the bell if you want updates. Don't forget I have memberships enabled, super thanks, all the good stuff that help keep this content going. Let's do it. Hey everyone, welcome to Watch Complications. I'm Brian. This is my first video in 2023. Some of you probably wondered, what's happened to Brian? It's been a month. We're February. First video. I wanted to make this video to explain what I've been up to in January, what my plans are for 2023. And this video is sort of a first in a new opportunity, if you want to call it that, for people to ask me questions. I get a lot of questions, be they related to watch tools, watchmaking, how I did something, and what I think about a certain type of watch or brand of watch model. And I want to give my viewers a space to ask me questions. So probably about once a month, depending on how many questions I do get, I will make a video like this where I'll pick out questions from the comments. So leave your questions for me in the comments below. I'll pick some, and then maybe once a month I'll respond to some of them. And today I've got some just to kind of get started and to let you know what I'm up to and what I plan to do here in 23. All right, first question, elephant in the room. What was I up to in January? Well, really three things. One, I was on holiday for a couple of weeks. I needed a break. Everybody needs a break sometimes. I try to take mine in long stretches so I can really unwind, relax, clear the mind, and that's what I did. When I did get back, it was just into the fire. Work was nonstop, busy, booked beginning today to end of day, day after day for about 2 to 3 weeks, and it just overwhelmed. And so I've just been busy. Remember, this is not my primary job. The watchmaking and watch work that I do was a hobby at first, turned to what I call a jobby, and it's really a second job at this point. But I have a primary job, my source of primary income, and that is what comes first in a lot of circumstances, obviously. And then basically all last week I was sick, but I am alive. I'm here. I've been responding to comments across plenty of other videos, but now I'm back on the video roll. All right, question number 2. What are my plans for 2023? Sort of big picture generally. One, I've got a few lingering watch projects I need to finish. That's taken some of my concentration and time over the past month, but I've got custom parts and dials and components to make and finish up some longer term projects. Got to get that done. 2023, I've got to convince myself to sell several watches that I just don't wear. I'm probably speaking for all of us. Got to clean out the box a little bit. More watch vids, obviously. I'll try to make them as often as I can. I'm doing Q&A vids like this monthly thing. That'll be kind of a fun thing for 23 that I'm starting. A little bit bigger channels do that more often, and maybe I'm getting there where I will get enough questions from people to make it worth my time to do that, and also to hopefully cut down on some repetitive answers that I have to give sometimes in comments. So there's the normal watch video stuff in this year, and then I'm starting a new channel. There'll be more on that in the future, but I am into a lot of other things beyond watches in the engineering space or the tinkering, that other hobbies, the things that I do that I enjoy. And so, for example, I am big into Legos. Okay, that's my other, we'll call it an adult hobby. But I'm really big into Legos. Maybe you can see behind me, see like a bunch of Legos back there. What I'm hoping to create is a space where I can share all the other stuff I'm into beyond watches, that's also informational and can give reviews and how-tos and just fun engineering ideas in areas of software development, programming, hardware, 3D printing, Lego building and reviews, lighting for Legos, like board games that are fun and that I like in terms of play. I just want to have a fun space to just share all that other kind of stuff. So if you're into my style, my channel, watch that. I'm going to say more about that in the future whenever I actually launch it. It will launch this month. It won't take too much time, I hope, away from the other stuff I'm doing with watches, but it is something I'm already doing, but now I'm going to start capturing that and sharing it with others. So new channel. Don't worry, Watch Complications isn't going away. I'll continue to be producing content here, and I just wanted to not flood my Watch Complications channel with all this other stuff. People can come here for the specific watch content, and I'll have my other channel for everything else I'm into. Back to Watch Complications in this channel. Question 3, what videos can you expect in February? Targeted down to what's coming next. I have a battery replacement video for the Vario Versa. This is a reversible watch. It's got 2 movements in it, so a little bit different than your typical battery changing process. So I'm going to show a how-to on that. I have a review of the Feynman Timekeeper's Feynman 1 from 22. So that watch has been out a while, but I've got one for review. I'm going to share my thoughts on that. Sort of a third video probably is going to be some custom holder. I've been doing a lot of that in January, even though I've not been making videos. I've been doing watch work in the background, even though I've been crazy busy. I've got custom holders for a couple projects that are kind of cool. One of them has like a locking mechanism because it had to be 2 different parts. So the variety remains a watch technician how-to video, a specific model review, and making custom parts. I figured I'd start with 5 questions in this first video. So question number 4 is one I get so often in the comments, is where do I get the logos made for my 10-6 brand that I use on my custom watches? I had those made, now it's been a few years ago, and this is before COVID, and it was a company called Ego Logo. I think I originally found them via eBay because they would sell them on there, but then they also had an actual website, sort of really clunky construction, like straight out of the 90s. Again, this was called Ego Logo, and I was like, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to order. It was that sketchy looking. It's like, they're going to steal my money. How legit is this? Well, it was, and I actually ended up talking to the owner quite a bit, and had ordered quite a few had ordered quite a few logo sets. And before COVID, just before COVID, maybe it was like right when it hit, and it was causing problems with the factories and all that kind of stuff. He's like, I think I'm going to shut this down. So if you want some, you're going to have to buy some now because it's going to be going away, which was unfortunate. And so I ordered a bunch in bulk. So I have a couple colors, a couple sizes, and they actually laser cut them, which is a little bit different than electroforming, like nickel stickers, which is about the closest thing to it. So where I got my logos made doesn't exist anymore. And it is hard to find companies that work at that scale for making applied logos. Now mine are still an adhesive-based logo, so it's kind of like a sticker, but I've never had one fall off once applied, kind of regardless of the conditions, and I've had quite a few of my custom watches out there for years at this point. So I'm really happy with them. There's a few other companies these days that do close to that sort of work. One that I've seen on Facebook and kind of recommended across some of my other videos to people when asking, it's called Tiny Logo. I don't even think they have an actual site. I think you can only get in touch with them via Facebook. So Tiny Logo, you're just gonna have to sort of Google, electroform nickel stickers, that kind of stuff, if you want to explore what's out there in terms of tiny applied logos. Or else get yourself a really, really good laser and learn how to hand polish. And then the last question of the day, and since I haven't been on in January, what is my most worn watch of 2023 so far? It's really a contest between 2. My very last video, right before going on holiday in 22, was the watch of 22, the Christopher Ward C1 Belcanto. Not my most worn, that's the second most worn. It's a couple times a week. Most worn watch of 23 so far is, I don't know if this will be a surprise to anybody, my Tudor black base ceramic. It's the 41 millimeter, and I put it on, and then it finds its way to my wrist again the next day. I will sleep with this watch on. Typically, I don't sleep with my watches on, but this one I do sometimes. I don't know. It's on a Barton Elite rubber strap right now. I haven't had it on the leather hybrid rubber strap from Tudor in a while, but that's the best strap for it. But I don't know. It's just something about it's just me. It's muted. It's low key. There's no date. The power reserve is awesome on this thing. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's like 72 hours. And like I said, I was sick last week. I had put it on the shelf like on Thursday, and then I go to pick it up on like Sunday or something. It's still running, and Christopher Ward has that with the SH21 in their movements. They have 5-day power reserve. Those are the longest power reserves I have. And this is sort of in that same feel. It's great when it's been on the shelf for 2 or 3 days and you walk back and pick it up and it's like, oh, it's still, I got to set my watch today. If I have to say my third most worn, it would be the Christopher Ward Sealander GMT. It's got the GMT, it's got the date at 6, 39 millimeter, strap monster, looks good on everything. Really, almost, you don't need any other watches. You kind of got that dress haute horology look. You've got your sort of daily watch, muted, no date, and then the GMT date Sealander. I mean, I could get by with those 3 watches, probably not have any other watches right now. So that's my wears in 23 so far. I want to do one of these monthly. Leave questions you have for me about anything, really, in the comments below, and I'll answer them in a couple weeks, few weeks, next month, something like that. Well, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for continuing to support the channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I'm Brian. This is Watch Complications. I'm out.